What's good, everybody? Before we get started, gotta thank you all. Over 1 million in sales for Alpha Core #1. You can still go pre-order that right now. We're only 2 weeks into it. 2 months left in the pre-order campaign window. We'll see how this does. This has been crazy successful, more successful than even we sort of anticipated there. So thank you all so much for that continued support. With that being said, yes, we are going to talk about the Marvels. Now, look, hear me out. I will be completely fair to this film, in any film for that matter. Yes, Captain Marvel 1, because of its positioning, did get it was $1 billion film, okay? Y'all need to understand that's not normal. That's not supposed to happen. And this film did not need to make $1 billion in order for it to be successful. However, with that being said, their budgets are out of control. So it's kind of almost putting them in a position to where they have to make nearly $1 billion in order to be profitable. This film is going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? Because they spent over $300 million. I'm not going to sit up here and break down how box offices work. Go watch my previous videos on that. Nonetheless, it's being reported right here and other places. This is saying an 80% drop off, worse than Marvel Cinematic Universe going into that second weekend. In the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I've seen it high as 87%. That was the only chance that they had if they were going to try to salvage this. And I said that. Look, yes, it doesn't have a lot of energy going into it. However, the one way they can turn this thing around would be if the movie was solid enough, got some word of mouth going, that they didn't get any of that. So it didn't have a lot of energy going into it, and those that actually saw it, this is your result. This movie is going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of millions. Also, though, and this is the bit that I really want to talk about. These people have learned absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever. The Marvel star, Zawe Ashton, sorry if I mispronounced her name, praised the MCU's representation. This is coming from CBR, which is an hilarious fraud of a comic book resource or news spot for various reasons. They play politics over there. But listen to what it is she said. This is in some show that she appeared. I think people think that with success comes key to the door of freedom in some way. But actually, for me, I just feel so blessed to be at a point in my life where self-work, self-healing, self-love is the only key to anything. Being in this film that you see is inclusive of this incredible representation. All the buzz terms are here, guys. Representation of women in this film, from the hero to the villain. And I think that's always really important. It's great to see representation within the people in the movie whose arc is like you know, very heroic, but it's also nice to have the contrast, to have the people who aren't so likable, you know, villains she's referring to. So there's a lot of inner child healing that has to come from being in this film, because there's a little girl, when I saw these posters, there wasn't the same representation. Oh my God. And to be that maybe for some other young people is really meaningful. The film was dead on arrival, and you kind of cemented that. You guys are worried about the wrong stuff. I've said this a million times. Diversity, representation, all that other corny stuff. Diversity in itself is not a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. It's just a thing. It's a side effect of certain human affairs. Yes, you can have something that is diverse, and it can get there organically. Other times you may have something that leans one way or the other, maybe exclusively one type of person that fills the roles that are part of this project. There is nothing inherently wrong with that. Nothing. It is not something that you pat yourself on the back with. But clearly, as they're on the promotional trails, they're talking about this stuff. That's a thing that they're highlighting. That's not by accident. This is stuff they got approved by the studios, talking points and things that they care about. And because they focused on that, you got the dud it is that you got. And as to be expected, they're going to blame each and every other person, the men and everybody else, because, well, even though, and I reported the numbers, more men went to see this than women. So much for your diversity. Alpha Core #1's pre-order is live. Written by the legendary Chuck Dixon and penciled by Joe Bennett. Visit Rippaverse.com to grab a copy and any of the merchandise items. Be sure to also check out the animated trailer for the campaign, which is the latest project from Rippaverse Studios. Y'all be easy.